Welcome back to Import Export. I'm Lawrence Christopoulos here on Ticker TV. Today's show is all about government grants, funding, compliance, all the ways that we can try and educate you and increase your awareness about what programs are out there to support you as you re-emerge out of this lockdown situation. No matter what type of business you are, most of you are involved with some sort of global supply chain, so listen in and check out all the people who can help you. Now we're joined by Ben Cusack, the infamous brother of the more famous Alison Cusack. I had to say that. So, but mate, you've been around a bit longer than Alison, but you're an expert in government grants. Tell us about Bullet Point and how it all came about.
Well, thanks for dropping my sister's name into my segment. So make sure you do the same back to her. So my background, I'm originally an engineer.
Okay.
And I had enough of being an engineer after about 6 years and did an MBA and then moved into management consulting and started writing business plans for startups. And writing a government grant is very similar to writing a business plan. And I felt that I could write a lot of words into a very small amount of space, which is what government grants are. And then I just started following grants. And then just developed a niche in that area. And I've been out on my own for about 9 years now, and I've sort of known you for that long.
Yeah. Now I remember when you left the firm and went on your own, so it was great, and you've been kicking goals ever since. So congratulations on that. And as we've heard throughout all the guests today, there are so many nuances about how to measure your eligibility to apply for it, to create documentation, records, tracking. But what you just mentioned there, Ben, is so powerful. Like, if I ever put on, not that I ever would, if I put on a hat of reading through grant applications, the ones that was short, concise and succinct, I'll be like, okay, put that on the tick box. Because if I have to read through a whole bunch of crap that just goes around in circles, it's going to be quite painful. So there's a lot of power in your expertise around how to package up your applications.
There is. So often I might receive someone's draft application and it might be 5 pages long and I don't really get a good sense of who they are. So then I ask them on the phone, what do you want to do with this grant? And then I get a much more succinct answer. So people sort of cobble together different parts of a business plan here or a presentation they've done, they cobble it together, but it's not a cohesive and nice, succinct point about who they are.
And that's really what, you need to essentially sell your product or your service or your business to the people who are reading that application. So it is very much a way of trying to encapsulate the message, the benefits, because all government grants are basically trying to say, yes, we want to match that benefit, we want to encourage that as an outcome. What are the typical businesses that you work with? I know that we've talked about R&D, we've talked about EMDG with Tom, but you cover the whole breadth of different grants, not just federal and state, but also industry-based, manufacturing-based, which is why Bullet Point is so unique, is that you're almost like, you're the shopping cart of all the grants that are around the place.
When I started 10 years ago, you couldn't really subscribe to a government website to get information. So I started aggregating all the different government websites, putting it all together. I use tools like change detection, so you can measure or look at a website, and if it changes, you get an alert.
Wow, okay.
Another little trick that we have is to use Google Alerts. So whenever that sort of keyword comes up sometime, then I hear about it, I go, great, let's go and put that out there. So I've got a full-time researcher now aggregating all the grants that are out there, and then we send that out a free weekly newsletter with all the new grants that come out. So there's around one a day that comes out.
Really?
So there's a lot of grants out there, and most of the time you've only got 6 weeks.
I was going to ask about that application lead time, because that's one of the challenges that I've heard a lot of companies complain about, is like, I just heard about this grant, but the deadline's next week.
That's right. So you've really got to allow yourself as much time as possible to prepare for a grant. And there's really no secrets to what's going to be in a grant application. So 80-90% of a grant application you could write now without actually seeing it.
Really? Wow.
So what you want to know is, what they want to know is who you are, what have you done, what are your products and services, and why are you any good? Why are you believable? Why can they trust you to carry out this grant? So is your business growing? What is your experience in doing a similar activity? And then,
are you a safe bet?
So government is very low risk. So they don't really want to bet on a startup. They prefer to bet on the sure thing. So they're putting a lot of money on the table for these companies, and they don't want to find out in 6 months' time that this business has collapsed or it's wasted the money. They want to bet on the sure thing.
With this whole focus now on manufacturing, nationalisation, getting all these things re-fired again in the economy. I'm imagining, you're probably been busier than ever with all companies saying to you, look, what am I eligible for? What's out there? Is that what you're experiencing at the moment?
So there's been a bit of an uptrend for people looking for grants, but there's always been a lot of grants in manufacturing. So this has been, you're going back a few years when the automotive sector was in decline. There was talk of 50,000 workers in Victoria in the second tier. What are we going to do with them?
Yeah.
So they invested in other manufacturers to take up that load.
Yeah.
So I would see something similar like that would come out in 3 to 6 months' time. So start thinking about what you want to do in 12 to 18 months' time in order to grow your manufacturing facility.
And what about other, like these pop-up things that have happened recently, like City Melbourne or Global Business Victoria, and that's just here in Victoria, but obviously other states have got similar type of support packages that have been rolled out. Do you get companies asking you to help with that as well?
Yeah, so the COVID style grants, so that's all about pivoting. So with the money that you get, what are you going to do different?
Right.
So a lot of it's about taking your physical premises and putting it online.
Oh, right.
So it's about pivoting and being sustainable, because a lot of industries may not open up full up to full scale that they were before COVID. So you've got to pivot to the online. So you might be a service or a consulting business that did a lot of face-to-face. How do you put that online? How do you develop an education program? How do you do it via distance consulting?
No, it makes sense. I think that again, probably companies have heard about it. It's a bit daunting, overwhelming, as we've heard through the theme of the show. Especially SMEs, they're good at what they do, but to get all this other stuff, it's just it's a totally different skill set. So, how do you normally engage with a company? Do they? Again, they've probably heard about a grant, then they'll pick up the phone or send you an email saying, "Look, Ben, can I apply for this? Am I eligible?" Is that how it typically starts?
Yeah. So we talk about what the grant is that they want to go for. So one of the main problems with government grants is that they write it so that it looks like everyone's eligible. So the chance of success of getting a grant can be around 30%.
Wow, okay.
So, and I applied for one on Monday, just for myself. The chance of success was 3%.
Wow.
So the main piece of advice I give to companies is don't apply for a grant. It's not the golden ticket, to transform a bad business. The government, investing in good businesses and making them great.
Save the time, Look, it's been absolutely really important to have you on the show. I think you encapsulate a whole range of different programs that we had experts with R&D, with Rita, Tom with the EMDG, and even the analogy you told me in the green room about, even bands could potentially tap into EMDG programs, which was a huge eye-opener, especially as an ex-band player myself. There's some really cool ways to talk to you and just be creative about tapping into whatever possible funding there is. So for all of you out there, get in touch with Ben at Bullet Point, who can really just go through like a fine-tooth comb about what your business may or may not be eligible for, and get his advice about what's a waste of time, as you just said as well. So pick your battles and go for the ones that are the best wins for your business. So thanks so much, Ben, and say hi to Alison.
Thanks, Ryan.
And we'll catch up with you very soon.
Awesome.
So